Hi, everyone. Welcome into another edition of Off Air with Casey and Kristen. Once again, I want to thank Food City for sponsoring our Off Air podcast. And Kristen, the final Off Air podcast of the month of January.
Yes, not forever, but for the month of January.
For the month of January. There's 5 in January, so we're going to have 5 in January. We won't have 5 next month because there's only 28 days in February.
What a crazy January we've had.
Coldest since 1985, I think, is what Kit was saying the other day in the weather.
Yes, and I just go and I look back at like the things like, I don't know, I just feel like we've been busy. You know, we kicked off the Storm Tracker tour again. We had guest restaurant night. We've had snow coverage.
Yeah.
We've had the colds, and then I went to that wedding, and you've been doing stuff, and
I've been driving to the gym and to work. Yeah, I've been really busy traveling a lot.
You've been busy, and so I don't know. I just feel like January's like been a busy month for us.
And it's almost over.
And now comes February.
The shortest month of the year, February.
Yes.
Which I don't like. That's my birthday month. So it's the shortest month of the year. But that could be another down the line edition of Off Air when we get into birthday discussions.
Oh, exciting.
Yes.
Someone's turning, I won't say it yet.
It's
but
a lot. It's a big number. It's a big number.
Yeah, we got to think about what you want to do for your birthday.
Yeah, I know.
We're going to have a good party this year.
Yeah. It's one of those numbers, I guess. And we'll have to get into that. But
I think we should do like a themed party. I'll talk to Kelly about this.
Okay, you go right ahead.
Like maybe we can all dress up as like a Casey from the past. Like
I think her friends had a T-shirt made for her bachelorette trip, like with she likes the band Nickelback.
Yes, and you were photoshopped in it.
My face was on 4 different, the band members, like different parts of my life, growing up as a baby or a kid or whatever. So
there's a lot of different Caseys we could be, though. There's you could be golf Casey, you could be basketball Casey, you could be news Casey
with the shirt and tie on there.
Yeah, you could be like beach Casey.
That's a scary Casey to be.
Pennsylvania Casey. There's like Steelers Casey. You know, like there's many different options.
Well, hey, I like the idea of it. I'll let you and Kelly kind of run with that, and
I'll call her.
I would be a little superficial to kind of say do that for your own party and be like, I want everyone this theme, so I'll let someone else handle that. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I'm okay with that. As we did say, the month kind of ended with a little warmer weather, so that's been nice. Kind of get into the 50s. The snow, for the most part, at least in the Bristol area, is pretty much all gone now. Mm-hmm. I'm sure some parts of Southwest Virginia, there's still some snow around, but it is nice to kind of hear some birds chirping and knowing that next week, Dave said in the 60s for much of next week.
Yeah. And so listen, I'm going to say you need to put your money where your mouth is because because I think it was last week or the week before we were talking about the weather and you said that you don't golf unless it's 50 or above.
Yeah.
And it will be 60 all next week. So you better be going and getting out and golfing.
I'll give you a golf update. My good friend used to work with us, PJ. He talked to him the other day on Wednesday. He played at Clear Creek. He told me that was the first day the course was open in 2025. Well, he's also retired. He has a little more time to play golf than I do. But the 29th of January was the first day the course was open, and only the front 9, he said, was open because there's still some snow on the back. There's a lot more tree cover, shade. But he said it was a muddy mess. It was really muddy, but he said it was just good to be out there and playing because we went on the golf trip back in early December to Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
So he had not played since then, which was about 7 weeks ago. And obviously I haven't touched the club since the trip either. So he said it was nice to get out, but he said it was a muddy mess. And, but hopefully now.
Well, a little mud never scared anyone.
No, but he said it was
character.
Builds character. And walk uphill both ways in snow also builds character.
So are you going to golf next week in the muddy mess?
Maybe. I'm not scheduled to be off at all next week, so we'll see. Maybe 9 holes. If nothing else, maybe the driving range just to hit some balls.
There you go.
That way you don't have to worry about the muddy mess. You're hitting off a mat.
I like it.
So yes, and I know you talked about a couple weeks ago when you were in Florida. We heard about that, and now you're going out of town again.
I am. Listen, I'm going to Nashville.
Nashville, driving.
Yes, I'm going to Nashville. We're driving, and I'll still be in Nashville in January. So that means I will go to Nashville at least once, like every month until for 3 months. So I'm going January, February, and scheduled in March.
Ah.
So lots of Nashville for me this year.
A lot of Buc-ee's too.
That's not normal. Yeah, I might stop at Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's.
So put in your orders.
Put it on the board.
Brisket on the board. So put your order in for some beaver nuggets.
Okay, all right.
And maybe that'll be a good podcast, a new podcast snack, a
Ooh.
Buc-ee's themed podcast. But yeah, gonna stop by Buc-ee's. But I'm going to Nashville to see Kelsey Ballerini. You know her?
I do know her country.
Yeah,
yes.
You know a song?
More Than My Hometown.
Yeah, okay.
With her and Kenny Chesney, right?
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah,
is that her?
I think so. But she doesn't sing that one. Do you know any of her newer stuff? New album? She just came out.
I listen to the Highway. I have Sirius. I do listen to the Highway quite often, so I'm sure I've heard it.
Yeah.
By the names, I'm not gonna. Couldn't name them.
But yeah, so we're going to that. Okay. Me and my friend Ashley. She used to be a producer.
This is at Bridgestone, where
the
Predators play the hockey. Yeah, big basketball down there, SEC tournament.
I would have loved to. I really want to go to a Preds game. Can we make that happen? We can make one more Nashville trip. I would love to go see them again. I've done it before.
The Predators?
Was so much fun, and I would love to see
They are not having the best season this year, so maybe it'd be better to buy tickets. Yeah, no, I mean, Kelly and I, we went to a Florida Panthers game. We were down there for Christmas, and we are going to go into Pittsburgh later this year. I'm going to a hockey game in Pittsburgh as well. So I get 2 hockey games this year. I don't think probably we'll make it to Nashville this year for another one, but I guess you never know.
Yeah, you never know.
But when you come back to work, it'll be February.
It will.
Also, your workflow is going to be a little different.
It is.
Because it's something you've been following for...
I got a new job. No, I'm just kidding.
Basically, you are going to have a new job for
an
indefinite amount of time.
Next week, I cannot believe that it's here, but it starts the Megan Boswell trial. If you've been following along for many, many years and you're from the area, you might know of this case. But basically, a little girl went missing, 15-month-old went missing. And when we knew about it, police had said, we haven't seen this 15-month-old. Her parents, nobody has seen it for 2 months. So it kind of I feel like that sparked so much interest because people were like, how have you not seen your child in 2 months? And it just became this huge, crazy
And this
thing.
was in early 2020.
2020, yeah. Yes. Because... and I covered it then. Yeah. I was still a reporter then. So I covered it. We covered it pretty much every day for at least a month because we were tracking down all these leads and it was just chaos. And, they found Evelyn's remains in March. And then her mom was charged with her murder and she has been in jail since. And we've not seen a trial.
Come up on 5 years.
Yeah. And there's not been a trial. And lots of things, it was scheduled. The trial was scheduled for 2 years. Obviously, COVID happened. That kind of pushed things a little bit back. But then, she fired her first attorney. So she got a brand new attorney. And so this attorney has now had the case for at least 2 years, too, to prepare for the trial. And so it's finally happening, maybe on Monday.
That's when jury selection is supposed to start.
Jury selection is supposed to start on Monday, and I will be there. And then we'll see how long it goes, but they're thinking it could last a month.
Now, how long do you think it could take to get a jury? Is that something that would be like a day? Could it be an entire week?
Yeah. So, it just depends. It could be a week. I think when I was talking to some people in the newsroom about it, somebody was guessing around Thursday is what they think. Now, I've been to multiple covered trials before, and they've been able to pick a jury in a day or two. And I think Sean Williams, which is another big case that we followed for a minute there in Johnson City, when he went to federal court, I think it took about a day.
And you were there. That was this past summer. You were down there for his.
Yeah. And it took about a day to pick a jury for that. So it just depends, honestly. But they've, said that they put out 1,200 people, potential jurors. And
they're all going to have to show up to the courthouse, those potential jurors on Monday to go through the lawyers will ask each of them questions to see what they know about the case, right?
Right. And I think if I could be speculating on this, but I would guess that all 1,200 people will not show up on Monday, that they will split them into groups like A, B, C, D. And so they might say groups A and D, we need you to come Monday. So it'll be a little bit smaller because obviously they can't hold that many people in the courthouse. So that's what I'm going to guess. And they'll try to find a jury from that pool. And then if that doesn't work, they'll just keep calling in more. So,
and then the prosecutor and the defense, they have so many strikes. Like they can throw out, say, oh, we don't want juror number 11, or we do want juror number 7. Then they have to come to an agreement. Yeah, well, we also will take number 7 or number 12, whatever.
And it just kind of depends on, how many that they have. They could have, I'm not sure how many strikes they'll have either.
Yeah.
So it should be very interesting.
And then you get the 12, and then you also need to get alternates as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, 12, and I think usually 2 alternates.
2 alternates. In case somebody gets sick or, something happened and they had to.
Yeah. And you never know. Sometimes there could be an alternate that somebody had to be excused from it for some reason. So, yes. And then the jury will be sequestered is what I'm hearing too.
Now, what is that?
So,
explain that. What people know what that is.
Sequestered means that they will be, it can mean a couple of different things. What it normally means, though, is sometimes they can't go home. Like, they will stay in a hotel and they will be sequestered for the entire length of the trial.
And there would be armed guards out their doors or at the hotel, making sure they don't leave police officers.
Yeah, I think that happens more in pretty, crazy cases. Okay. But yeah, somebody will probably have to escort them to the hotel and everything. And they treat the jurors great, obviously. And they, you get meals and all these things. But I can only imagine. Can you imagine being sequestered for a month-long trial and not sleeping in your own bed? That would be awful.
Yeah.
So I think they try not to do that to people, but where this case is so big, you just never know what might happen. So,
and then in that case, also is that where they would limit what they would be able to watch in terms of they may not want them to watch the local news to be influenced by anything either. So then it's are they in a hotel? There's no TV, or there's only Netflix or something like that.
I don't think they go that far, but the judge will give instructions to all the jurors multiple times, and probably every day before they leave, they will say, "You are not allowed to watch any local media. You cannot read any papers, read any articles, be on social media, and read anything about the case.
And don't discuss it with anyone.
Right. And do not discuss it with anyone outside of the other jurors or whatever. But so should be interesting.
So if it does go, and it does, like you said, you said it could go a month. In that case, for a month, you're going to just be going right to the courthouse. You really will not be in the building here at the TV station much at all if it does go that full length.
Yeah, so I'm just going to head to court every morning. I'm not even think I'm going to even just come here just because there's no reason to, because I'm going to go there anyways. So I'll pretty much just be going to court every single morning at 9 a.m.
So, and the thing is, you have to call the night before even just to make sure that, things can happen. You would think not, but you got to call and make sure that everyone is supposed to show up on Monday is going to show up.
I'm going to call Sunday night and make sure that
because there's recordings. So if you're a juror, you have to call a number and say, if your number, you show up, or no, we don't need you anymore.
So I am going to call Sunday probably just to make sure that it's still a go. But I think with how big this has been, if it's not going to be a go on Monday, they would send us an email or something and tell us. So
especially, I guess maybe if they're waiting until the absolute 11th hour, you would think Friday would be the last. Once you get to the weekend, there's no going to be. You would think any new decisions made like that. So
no, but it should just be really interesting to hear the testimony and to see what her defense,
and there's going to be a lot of national outlets coming here for this. This is something to gain national attention.
Yep. Court TV I know Court TV is definitely going to be there. I was actually, if you want to check it out, I was on Court TV this week.
Look at this. So, Court TV.
Talking about the Megan Boswell case. So that's on their YouTube page if you want to check it out.
The only other YouTube page you're allowed to watch besides the News 5.
That's right.
Our off-air podcast. Sponsored by Food.
So I have 2 really, really tiny clips in there. They asked me 2 questions. Okay. Or maybe 3. So, but it was interesting. Kind of neat.
Big time us over here now on the national level. with Court TV. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And it will be, obviously I know this is something you've been covering for almost 5 years, but it will be very odd if it does happen, does last a month, that like, even though you'll be working, most of us here at the station we'll see you, but not actually in person for quite a while. So,
well, you'll have to see me because it's your birthday. So,
no, that is true. Yeah.
Up, so.
Sorry, Judge. I'm going to need a day off. It's Casey's birthday in the middle of the trial.
We have to figure it out. Yeah. Well, the weekend. I'll be up on the
weekends. You go. That's true. So not only are you big timing us on Court TV this week, you also cover JD Vance coming back to Damascus, and you talked to the vice president, and you're on Court TV in the same week.
All in 1 week. It's been a busy week. I couldn't let you show me up. You interviewed JD Vance in October, and I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
I should interview JD Vance. So that's what I did. No, I'm just kidding. That's not really how it works. But
the boss said, you're going to cover JD Vance.
There you go.
And you said, sir,
and
yes,
so
sir.
I said, yes, sir. So here I go to interview JD Vance. Really neat experience. A little bit different experience than what you had. So normally, which I say normally, he came one other time. When you covered it, you were right up there with the plane and you watched him walk off, and then you guys rode in a little van to Damascus and like followed him around. If you want more on that, visit the YouTube page and
the off-air archives.
And
yes,
you go to the off-air archives and watch Casey's interview. But the way this one worked is they reached out and they said, okay, there's so many media people that want to come to this. So credential whoever you want, but like tell us who's going to Damascus and who's going to the airport. So Preston ended up going to the airport and they put me in Damascus. And so I was in Damascus with Ethan, the producer of this podcast, and also with Troy and Hutch. And Hutch was actually the pool camera photographer. So JD Vance was there for a round table.
Explain what a pool photographer is. Yeah.
So JD Vance was there for a round table with like some community leaders and things of that nature. The pool camera means that they only want one camera in that room. And so they basically kind of figure out who they want to do that. And then you have to share your video with the other stations that would also like that video.
So rather than if 20 stations want to come cover this event, having 20 different cameras in there, which is logistical, a nightmare, just one station, and then that video has to be sent to everybody who wants it.
Yes.
Even your competition or whatever, doesn't matter.
Correct. So like this is the only time that we would share anything with WJHL or really any other station that's not owned by a company or like NBC or Fox. So that was pretty cool for Hutch. So he went in that room. He was the only person allowed in that room. I was not allowed in that room. We had to get there at 9 a.m. and JD Vance didn't come till 2. So when we got there at 9 a.m., there was like nobody there. It was kind of ghost town. And then the police all came. Secret Service was there. And at that point, it just like we were just kind of waiting around, but they started blocking us in. So like more and more vehicles started showing up. VDOT brought in trucks and they just blocked off every entrance and exit to the place basically. So there was no way we were getting out and there was no way anyone was getting in. Then we had to take all of our camera gear and put it on the sidewalk where JD Vance ended up standing on. But we had to put it on the sidewalk and we had to wait for a couple hours while like they did a sweep of our camera equipment. So they came by, the dog sniffed all the bags and like made sure. And then they wanded us down. So they brought over, like a wanded all of us down. And then we got like a card that said like, you're with the press and like,
You've been cleared.
You've been cleared. But then once we were cleared, we had to stay in that little spot and we couldn't go back to the car or back anywhere. Like we had to stay in the barricade basically. And it was cold.
I mean, it was like maybe low 40s.
It was cold. Day. I was saying I'm just so thankful that it wasn't like the days where it was like 18 degrees here.
Yeah.
Because that would have been absolutely miserable because I was miserable in 40. So I can't imagine how bad it would have been. But it was to the point like poor Ethan, he did a live shot for me on the phone. And they were like, what happened? But I thought it was fine, but he was so cold. He was shaking the camera. So, if you watched on TV, it might have been a little shaky, but it was just because we were so cold. But yeah, so it was really cold and we had to stand out there and basically just wait for him to get there. So he came finally after the round table, came outside, walked over to the press area, and they had a press gaggle is what they call it. So it was us and, maybe 5 or 6 other stations, and then the national press were there too. And he gave a little speech basically just about Helene recovery, why he was there, how important he thinks it is to get more money to the communities that need it. And then they offered a little bit of time for questions. So I got to ask him a question.
First question.
Cool. I was like, I am not leaving this place. I stood in this cold for hours.
I'm asking JD
Vance a question because that is why I'm here. So I was like, I want to be first because then I can get my question out of the way and I'm done. So I asked him the first question.
And he said, that's a great question, ma'am. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, he said, man, that was an excellent question. Would you like to come and work for me?
Much better than that question the bozo you work with asked me.
Yeah, I think he remembered that too.
I think so, because I'm pretty tall.
Like,
where's that tall freak?
But you're not as tall as Governor Glenn Youngkin.
No, he's a little taller than I am.
He's very tall. Yeah. He's like 6'7".
And he was standing next to JD Vance, and Vance was
and it made Vance look small, but he's not.
I think short. I'm like between the two. I'm not as tall as Youngkin, but I think I'm a little bit taller than Vance.
I don't know. I want to see you and Governor Glenn Youngkin play some ball. I think that would be good to see.
You think the Secret Service would allow me to go back to back with Vance? Let's see who's taller.
No.
Get away from him.
So speaking of the Secret Service, so then this gets better. So after everything was over, they made us stand in this like really small box that they had taped with like pink tape. And they were like, don't leave the box. You have to stay in the box. Well, at some point, like these 2 guys came out of the round table and I think they tried to like join the like press thing just to watch him. And I don't know, they were not in the box. And like a VSP car, like a cruiser, like was trying to drive by and couldn't get past because those guys, and they like rolled down the window and like yelled at them. They were like, get out of the way. And I was like, it's not us. We're in the box. I'm staying in the box. Like I was like, I'm following the rules. So I was like, whatever they tell me to do, I'm doing. I'm not getting tackled by the Secret Service. Well, after it was over, and mind you, I've been holding my phone like this to like record him, and I've got the microphone trying to get audio. So by the end of it, I'm like shaking like a leaf because it's so cold. And his press lady is like, okay, local press, I need you to get to the sidewalk. Get to the sidewalk where they were standing. And I got tunnel vision. I was like, Kristen, get to the sidewalk. Getting to the sidewalk. So I just walk right up there, like maybe this close to JD Vance. And Ethan, our producer of the podcast, was like, I thought you were going up to like good game him or something, like slap him on the back or something. He's like, you got so close. And I was like, no, I didn't even know he was there. Like I was just so focused on like getting to the sidewalk and getting out of the way that I didn't even realize. And I think at some point she like looked up and was like, press, if you could go around and like go to the sidewalk, not like direct line. But I was like, oh man, what if I had gotten like tackled by the Secret Service, or I got way too close probably. So sorry, JD Vance, if you're watching, didn't mean to get in your bubble. I was just focused on not getting in trouble.
And when I saw the video asking the questions, I mean, it was, you can't, usually when we interview people, we put a microphone on them or we stand really close like this. And I mean, you can't do that with him. And you were,
I was pretty far
back, like yelling, hey, Mr. Van, it's like you had to yell your question, and so you hold your microphone out, and it's a little different than, because he's the vice president.
Yeah. And I mean, when I asked my question, you can hear it great because I had the microphone, but then when you put it out, it's like, I mean, he was close, but it was enough to pick up. Like you can hear him fine on the TV, but it wasn't as clear as it could have been. But pretty neat experience.
Well, we at the station found out about that he came on Monday. Mm-hmm. We found out about it Saturday night. So we had about 36-hour advance notice that he was coming with very few details of it. And, we were actually together when we found out that he was coming. We were together that evening. And I texted someone we both know, just in law enforcement. And he's like, this person told me, you have no idea how much planning. I think they knew a couple of days prior, obviously, the planning that had to go into this. And from a security, the first time he came here, he was a candidate, but he said being the vice president, way more security than it was when he came in October. So, I saw it very close in October what it was like, and I could not imagine a couple more levels more security, because I wasn't around this time for it. But he said there would be way more security because he's the actual vice president, not just a candidate for vice president.
Yeah, and I mean, I think there was a lot of people that were like, "Oh, it would be so cool to see him," like even just like put their eyes on him and get to see him. And so I think people maybe even tried to do that and like go and like when we were getting ready to leave, I mean, everyone was pretty far away. Like nobody was that close. Like the press, I mean, they really kept it to where like you weren't getting very close to him unless you charged him at the end of your interview. So unless you did that, he wasn't threatened. It didn't seem like he wasn't like, whoa.
Well, you're not a very threatening person. If I see you coming,
yeah. I mean, I was like a rocket, but yeah, I thought that was interesting because I feel like normally when you do see like, I don't know, there's like a lot more police. There was a ton of police presence, don't get me wrong. But like they were more on the outskirts too. It wasn't like everyone was like all in one area really like tight on him. So.
What do you think the odds would have been back in, was it July when he accepted the nomination for vice president? Maybe say July. What do you think the odds would have been back then if somebody would have said, you two bozos will both have interviewed J.D. Vance in the next 6 months?
I wouldn't believe you, but maybe I would because this job is crazy.
Yeah.
You just never know who you're going to interview, right? Like
it is. I mean, and just thinking back to a year ago, like if you asked last January who J.D. Vance is, I would be like, I have no idea who J.D. Vance is. Like I personally,
you wouldn't have said the senator of
Ohio. No, I would be like, who? I had no idea who J.D. Vance was.
Hillbilly Elegy?
No, a year ago. And then, vice president nominee. Okay. Then, I get to interview him as the nominee in October. And then you get to interview him as the vice president in January.
Yeah.
And this was his first trip outside of Washington.
That was pretty cool, too.
As VP.
Yeah, that was pretty cool to say that was the first trip that he took outside of Washington, D.C.
I mean, he was sworn in the Monday before, and then exactly a week later, he's in Damascus.
Yep, 7 days.
Yeah.
And he chose Damascus, Virginia to be the first trip. So I thought that was pretty nice. It was nice of him to take questions too. He didn't have to do that. So pretty cool. And now we both can say that we have interviewed a vice president.
Well, you did. I did a candidate.
Well, now he's the vice president.
Now he is, but he wasn't at the time. So I'm giving you credit. You got one up on me.
Okay, well, thank you.
Okay.
I guess.
I guess it'll have a little bittersweet moment. We got a couple people leaving us here at WCYB. We want to give a shout out to with, that are part of the kind of our Nightside team. One's our producer, Matthew. He's been with us for just a little bit over 2 years. He's worked with us the entire time in Nightside. Great guy. Got another opportunity he's going to explore. So going to wish him nothing but the best. We'll certainly
such a good producer. Probably one of the best producers we've had.
We'll definitely miss him. I don't know what you're going to do next year when we come to picking games because you lean on him like a crutch and he's not going to be here anymore.
I still have his phone number. Okay. I'll just text him and be like, Matthew, what game you like?
Yeah. So Matthew, our producer, is going to be leaving us. So we wish him well in his next endeavor. And we will certainly miss him. Then the other person you have probably seen on television a couple times or two, Lauren Bradford.
Yep.
Also leaving. She has been here for 2 years as well, and she's moving on to bigger and better things. And we want to try to get her on the podcast. And, we've talked about her a few times, from how bad she was at pickleball when we played pickleball and things like that. So we wanted to bring her on here and talk to her briefly before she exits stage right for good here from WCYB. We certainly wish her well. So, we got two people that part of our Nightside crew, both moving on.
I know, it's so sad. And I'm like, what are we going to do without our pickleball friend, because
you got to have an even number to play pickleball.
Yes, you do. So we were saying either my husband or Ethan, our producer of this podcast, his girlfriend will have to come and be the fourth pickleball player.
Yeah, because having 3 people with pickleball just isn't going to work.
No, unless we did singles and the other person would just have to like rotate in.
Yeah.
But what's the fun in that?
That is not as fun. Yeah, pickleball. I've never played pickleball other than doubles with you and Lauren and Ethan. That's the only people I've ever played pickleball with.
Oh, and here she is.
Speak of the devil. We got a spot for you right back here. We're going to put you a quick game of 20 questions with Lauren Bradford.
Okay.
Our first ever guest on the podcast.
In your Mountain Dew Snuggie. Thank you for...
Yes, I did.
Maybe you should tell the story about how you got that.
Who bought it? Who brought it?
I think it was Matthew and
Matthew
Kylie. Yeah, I bought mine.
We did Secret Santa, right?
Which
no,
Kristen,
not Secret Santa. White Elephant. I was
which Kristen
confused.
started here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We did that my first year here, and I brought this nice gift. I had my mom ship me coffee from my hometown and her homemade truffles, and this is what I picked. I was a little disappointed at first, but we decided to embrace it, and so now I wander around the newsroom in it all the time.
All the time she wears the same.
And I feel like you like it. It's cold in the newsroom. I'm indifferent to it. I think it's kind of a running joke at this point.
I feel like you kind of love it though, because you wear that every day.
I like being warm. I'm always cold.
Yeah. So it was the perfect gift for you, honestly.
It worked out. Casey also got one. It was not the perfect gift for him.
I re-gifted it and it was a perfect gift for somebody else. And that person wasn't me, so that was good.
Re-gifter.
I was a re-gifter. Proud of it. We mentioned it, Lauren, you're leaving 2 years. How would you describe or what kind of sticks out to you about your time here at WCYB?
I think that it was really enjoyable. I think when I first got to the area, it was definitely a shock and it took some adjusting.
She didn't talk to any of us for
I didn't. No, well, that's not even what I was talking about. But yeah, no, I was nervous. It was my first job out of college. And so, I came in every day so scared about what everyone was thinking of me. And I don't think about that now. I just talk. I think Caleb on the weekends wish I would shut up sometimes. But I think going out into the community, it was a lot more welcoming than I could have ever imagined. All the people are so great, and it really makes it hard to say goodbye because the communities really have just been so nice to me every time I've gone out there. I was shooting basketball today, and the cop next to me was like, "You want a water?" I was like, "I'm good, but I appreciate you asking. You're not going to get that everywhere."
That is absolutely right. Well, you want to share anything where you're going? If people are curious, or if you don't, that's up to you. But we'll throw this as a podcast. The space is yours if you would like.
I'm going to York/Harrisburg Market in Pennsylvania to work for the Fox station up there, Fox 43, I believe.
Which
Still
is
doing
nice.
Sports.
Still doing sports, yeah. I've said it time and time again. I could never do news. I think news is way harder. I enjoy going out and shooting basketball and putting it all together.
But it's nice because you'll be closer to family too.
I will be. It was 8 hours home and it'll be 3 hours. And to me, that seems
difference.
like nothing when you're driving up, hour 20 to Wise regularly during the week.
Yeah,
So,
seriously.
You're doing 3 hours in a day.
That's very true. Well, we're going to miss you here for sure. I know I am because we like to hang out and have a good time.
I know Casey doesn't always tag along.
No, but we were talking about,
for one of your last times with Buffalo Wild Wings the other day.
Yep.
I did show
Yeah,
up.
we all went to Buffalo.
You were late, but I'm not going to hold that against you.
Because I was working.
It's
fine.
Yeah,
I think we need to bring that up.
You were still late, but yes, the cause was because of work.
Okay, so speaking of sports, since you're here too, let's hear y'all's Super Bowl picks. I want to know who you think's going to win.
No one. You know who's a winner? No one. Because everyone wanted the other teams to win.
This will be the
Not
second
everyone.
time in 3 years, yes, that Kansas City and Philadelphia playing the Super Bowl. The last one 2 years ago was a fantastic game. Chiefs won 38-35. It was a very entertaining game right down to the wire. So I will sign up for that. It's close again, but obviously I want the Eagles to win. I'm not an Eagles fan by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm just sick of Kansas City winning. And so it's nothing against, Mahomes, very likable guy. Travis Kelce is. Andy Reid's love the Big Red there, Andy Reid, but I'm just sick of Kansas City and yeah.
Well, do you love Taylor Swift?
No.
How many times are they going to show her during the Super Bowl?
Oh, God.
Too many.
Not enough.
Not enough.
No.
For a Swiftie
I can't wait to see her
No.
outfit. I'm sure it's going to be so cute.
And it's indoors, so she won't have to be all
I think her
bundled up.
style's half my issue with her.
I feel like she'll wear
the
something
beanie
like
with the like white out. It's just I can't. No.
I think she'll wear something cute like.
If you're gonna be a wag, you
themes.
gotta dress like a wag, and she just does not pull off the outfits.
Well, she's not a wag.
She's a girlfriend. That's what it is. Wives and girlfriends.
Oh, I thought it was just wives and.
That'd be a W.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, whatever.
Well, give us your prediction. Now
you
won't be up there yet, but you're going to be kind of close to the Philadelphia market when your new station. You'll be a couple hours outside of Philly, right?
Yeah, it's 2 hours away from there. I will hopefully be at home watching it, even though my parents have already informed me that they will be going to bed. So I'll be in the living room hanging with the dog, I guess.
So you could be here watching it with us.
I could be. Sorry. I'm in it for the commercials this year.
That are going for $8 million.
Yes, we ran a story about that today. $8 million
for 30 seconds.
For 30 seconds.
Jeez.
That's $4 million for 15 seconds.
Are you going to buy one?
Yeah.
Just a little out of my price range. Just a smidge out of my price range.
I'll pick. What did you make your pick? Did you pick one?
Yeah, I'm going to say Eagles. I'll say 27-23.
I would love to see like an Eagles blowout win.
Oh.
I don't even, but I mean, it's not going to happen with the refs.
Oh my gosh.
I had to stir the pot there a little bit. I do think that it'll be hard for Kansas City to stop Saquon. But
Saquon.
I'm
no
hoping,
relation.
I'm hoping for my sake, we have a little fantasy league going that Jalen Hurts just airs bombs all night and the Eagles win big.
All right. Your thoughts?
I am with you. Like, I think I would like to see the Eagles win just because it's someone other than the Chiefs. And I would like that. Matthew, I was talking to him. He said he likes a dynasty. He said he wants the Chiefs to win. I was shocked by that. But I do love Taylor, so I won't be sad if they win just because I think
they are at least more of a likable dynasty than when the Patriots were. I mean,
100%.
The Patriots were because all the cheating scandals they had, rule breaking.
Yeah.
So no one liked the Patriots, and the Chiefs have nothing like that in their background.
Definitely.
So yes, they definitely have been more likable. But I think like the first year, even last year, I don't think there was this much Chiefs fatigue, if you want to call it that. But this year, I feel like it has really ramped up even more because no one's ever won 3 straight Super Bowls. I mean, it's never happened. And this is Super Bowl 59. Yep. So this is just how rarefied air they could be in if they win one more game.
I guess we'll find out.
Rigged.
Well, we wrap up the podcast with a snack. So we'll give Lauren a part of the snacks that she's here
and
for
so
the last
since
time.
we're talking about Super Bowl, that's what all the food is like out right now.
Yeah.
So I really like shopping at Aldi because when you shop at Aldi, they do like Aldi finds of the week and they do Aldi home finds and then they do Aldi food finds. So the food finds of the week are usually catered to like whatever's going on. So like January, like especially like the 1st of January, there was a lot of healthy snacks out because it's January 1st. Everyone's thinking about being healthy, blah, blah, blah. And then like right now you're seeing more Valentine's Day, Super Bowl stuff because people are getting ready to do snacks and that kind of thing. So there's all these Super Bowl snacks at Aldi. So I figured we could do some Super Bowl snacks. I don't have any dips or anything, but I saw this popcorn and I thought this was interesting. Dill pickle flavored popcorn.
I was literally about to say if it's pickles, I'm done. You guys
and
are so
Lauren
mean.
hates
you guys,
pickles.
I'm not doing this. This is like
you could eat one kernel.
Oh my god.
Let's just give it a good smell. Lauren hates pickles.
I like pickles.
Smell it.
I like pickles.
Okay, eat one. You got this.
It does not taste like. I mean, it's. Oh, okay. After you chew for a little bit, you get a little. Oh, she spit it out off camera, but she spit it out.
Not a fan.
Ah, that's the first ever time someone spit out a treat for.
All right. If you like pickles, dill pickle popcorn. If you don't. What's a rating? 1 to 10.
1 to 10.
0. Like, oh my.
I'm giving it a 2.
Hi guys.
Wait, I've got another snack. This is pickle flavored. No, I'm just kidding.
You don't have any more?
So number 2, I found these too, and I thought that this would be interesting. This is Shackalicious gummies.
Oh.
Did you know that Shaq has his own food line?
No, I did not.
He has gummies.
Of gummy bears.
Gummies from the biggest kid in the candy store.
Well, he is 7'1" or whatever he is.
Peach, berry punch, and orange. And you like gummies.
I love gummies. Yeah, that's a lot more my speed.
So let's all try a
That was
Shackalicious.
so mean.
Are you still holding it in your hand?
Honestly, I didn't even. Honestly, I bought.
What do you want me to do? Put it on the floor?
Here, you can put it in here.
Put it in the bag there.
Honestly, I bought this on Monday, and I didn't even think about you trying the snack and it being pickle flavored.
It was just meant to be.
It was. Ew, I think it touched me.
Whatever.
All right.
Get.
So, have a Shackalicious
Are these individually
gummy.
wrapped? Oh,
I think
these are
they're-
big boys.
I think it's his head.
Well, it's Shaq. I don't want the orange. I think I got the orange.
This is a good time.
This is getting worse and worse.
Yeah, this one's definitely orange. What do you think?
I'll get another one.
Mm-hmm. Lauren, you like those?
Yeah, I found the pink.
I'll give these a 5.
A 5?
Yeah, I'll give it a 5. It's my score. I can give it what I want.
I know that. I was just asking. I just kind of.
Is there an echo in here?
Hush. I just thought it was kind of low for
You never gave a score for the pickle popcorn.
Oh, 4. It's all right. Probably wouldn't buy it again.
I'll give them a 7.5.
Shaq.
What's your Shaq score?
6.
5, 6, 7.5.
There we go.
All right. Well, Lauren, you were the first guest ever on Off Air. Maybe you'll be the last.
And the last.
Yeah, maybe the last. But we wish you well. We're going to miss you. And good luck in York, Pennsylvania.
Thanks, guys.
And,
Have some pickle popcorn.
yeah, take this to go. And thank you guys for watching another edition of Off Air, sponsored by Food City. We appreciate it. Have a great weekend. And again, with the Boswell trial potentially coming up, I'm not sure what the schedule is going to be like for Off Air in the weeks ahead. We're going to play it by ear, but certainly it'll be on our YouTube page whenever we have a new episode.
Bye-bye.